And welcome back to coverage of the Pro Tour March of the Machine. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon, and we're early in day number 2. We're doing a little booster draft here. We just watched Nathan Steuer draft a red-black deck, and we're going to get a chance to see it in action in the future here as well. He is going to be sitting down across from Javier Dominguez. So we've got two world champs facing off. Now, Javier, I had a chance to take a look at his list. We didn't follow his draft directly. And he's got an interesting build, Paul. He's in one of the least popular archetypes. It's green-white.
Okay. Better be good.
But it's pretty good. He actually has a lot of the payoffs. There are numerous uncommon payoffs for the deck. Take a look at what he's got here. He's got 2 Botanical Brawler, which is definitely where you want to be. He has the best card in the entire set with Sunfall in the lower right part of your screen there.
Okay.
And then if you look, he's also got Storm the Seed Core down at the bottom there to spread a bunch of counters out over his creatures, which goes a long way. And then he also has, it's a little hidden, but it's Invasion of Moog. That's the one that also puts counters on like 4 creatures. And so this is the type of thing that you can use to create a huge board state out of even mediocre creatures. And frankly, his creatures are better than that.
Yeah, I mean, when you tell me, hey, somebody drafted a green-white deck, the first thing I'm going to ask you is how many Botanical Brawlers does this deck have? And the fact that Javier has 2, it's a great sign here. Really, really good mana curve. Like you said, one of the best rares in the set. And this is that color combination where Storm the Seed Core can be an absolute bomb.
Right, end the game.
Yeah,
right.
It will just completely end the game here. So,
GG.
So good curve here from Javier. Little light on interaction, but it looks like Javier just has enough combat tricks to really just try to force damage through here.
Nathan's deck on the other side, though, is the red-black, and it does have a fairly strong sacrifice sub-theme going at this point as well, particularly with 2 copies of Stormclaw Rager that you see in the middle upper part of your screen there. Also a good discipline pick in pack 3. He picked up a 2nd copy of Deadly Derision, which is going to go a long way in this matchup, right? And when we go back and think about that, he picked up that Derision into Final Flourish. Those were the only options he had to get that removal. If he didn't take those 2 cards there, he would be on 1 Deadly Derision for the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Choosing to take Deadly Derision over the very powerful Ayara there was very big. So
I really like that
going
pick.
to need that to kill some potentially enormous Botanical Brawlers there.
Exactly. Getting that thing off the battlefield is huge in a matchup like this, because then your opponent ends up with a bunch of okay creatures, right? And that is the problem with green-white, is that the removal is good enough so that even if you stack up some +1/+1 counters on a creature, it doesn't necessarily get the job done anyway.
Yep. But both players seem to have kind of the, I have a nice curve. I have some, you know, and on Nathan's side, it's kind of, I have a nice curve. I have some interaction, and I'm going to just kind of hope to win that way, just curve you out.
Nazubi Informant will start things off here for Steuer. That's going to get a forest out of the hand here for Dominguez.
No 2-drop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nothing on 1 or 2 for Dominguez, which is really surprising.
Yeah, note that, remember, Javier really doesn't have any removal other than that Sunfall.
Yeah.
So those Stormclaw Ragers that we were talking about throughout Nathan's draft, Javier basically has no answer for it. Very few.
He's got a Zhalfirin Lancer, which is a good blocker in this situation at the least.
And Nathan just has a pair of 2 powered creatures and no way to push them through. He could potentially attack with the Informant, right? And then use the Final Flourish to turn the Lancer into a 1/1.
Could do that.
Get a Rummage as well. Might just choose to do that. The only other option here is to just run out that Etch Familiar, right?
That's right. This is the point already. I know it's early, but he has to decide, am I racing? Am I trying to push through damage? Is that a viable game plan at this point?
Okay.
And he's going to take it a little bit slower here.
Me too, when it dies, me too. Yeah.
And he's going to play an Etched Familiar. A quick double check there from Dominguez on which card that is. It's always a good sign when your opponent goes, what does that do?
Oh.
But also,
a land or a double face card.
that's right, Overgrown Pest.
Love me an Overgrown Pest.
It's a nice one.
Just the fact that I can get you a battle.
He also don't miss.
Yeah.
Overgrown
you
Pest
just can't miss in this format with it.
Never misses.
You're good. And I'm gonna play.
No great attack here, though, from Javier, so.
Yeah, just going to end up passing the turn back. So a little bit of a stalemate early, but I don't expect it to last for long. Either a well-timed removal spell from Steuer or some type of +1/+1 counter additions from Dominguez will change that.
There's an urn, which will looks like the way that this the direction of this game, you're probably going to see that urn actually get something here. Get to 6 mana to exile something. Now, is this a trade that Nathan wants? Familiar against the pest doesn't feel too good, right? Trading your 3/2 for a 2/2.
Especially, I know that this isn't how you're supposed to do it, but especially when they got a card off of it.
Right. Yeah.
Sunk cost fallacy and all that, but still, it's just like, ugh.
I mean,
it feels extra bad.
Trading for 2 is like
a quarter of a
of a
card.
card.
Yeah, you're not exactly getting the full card back, but Steuer's going to take his medicine here, and so is Dominguez.
Dominguez is very happy with that.
He has to be
trade.
thrilled with that exchange. He was, oh, okay, fine. But in reality, I think he's very good with that. And there's the Urn of Godfire. Not really a playable Magic card in this format. If you have to put that card into your deck, you're not happy.
You're not happy. It certainly must have been Nathan's last card. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm going to just have
It's unfortunate.
a very inefficient removal effect. But on this board state, now it makes it kind of tough for Javier. If he has a big creature in hand, he has to decide: do I want to play this, or do I want Nathan to use the urn on something else?
That's right. Also, with the 2 Stormclaw Ragers, he can just sacrifice the urn to one of them as a low-cost way to cycle through it. So it's not the worst case
For
here.
vigilance? Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Oh, Quende is a knight.
Yep.
So get in there.
That's going to trigger the Zhalfirin Lancer's triggered ability.
Yeah, I imagine Nathan's probably going to take the 4 here. I saw a Final Flourishing. Probably.
He does have Final Flourish. He could use it.
I'm going to shrink this for 2.
He's going to shrink Quende for 2.
Dead, but this is still a
Yeah, it's still 4/4.
Okay.
That's fine.
Oh.
And he's just going to end up taking it.
I see. Okay.
18-16, right?
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really change anything. He just knew he was going to kill it anyway.
Ooh, 4-drop. Okay. Not a bad draw here for Nathan.
The Heel Slasher.
Yeah, get to rummage away a card here.
Also a
Attack for
3/4 is all right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
3/2 first strike.
Yeah, you're at 13.
13 to 18. Okay.
It does have first strike currently.
Remember, with that urn, Javier does have a Timberland Ancient, but doesn't really want to play it out.
Trade my 6 mana for your 7 mana. Sure.
There's also an Invasion of Ikoria.
He'll prefer to do that last.
Yeah.
But if he has nothing else to do, we may see him run it out here for
just
5.
4,
Or for
maybe?
4,
For
excuse
4?
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 to 2.
Yeah.
Not been that impressed with Invasion of Ikoria myself.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, and again, we talked about how important the defense number is on these cards, and
That's
6
right.
is just a lot.
It's a ton. And it looks like instead of doing nothing or putting out a weaker invasion, Javier is just going to say, all right,
Yeah.
6/5 reach trample. Do your worst.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan's likely going to just try to get this off the board, still gets an attack with the Scrounger.
Looks like he's going to rummage.
But before block,
And
sacrifice
before
the urn,
blocks.
yeah.
So 3/3.
In case a derision is
3/2,
found
3/3.
off the rummage.
Right.
So I can probably trade here. Presumably.
Nothing.
I like the play-by-play here
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Dominguez. He's like, I'll probably trade here, presumably.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Both
that
of
too.
these fantastic players, but also on the same testing team, by the way. So
This is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So he gets to now cast the invasion,
Yep.
but he's going to go probably. I'm curious to see what he's got, but he did have to put one of his better cards on the bottom.
it's not on 6, right?
It should be 5.
I think it'd be 5.
It's 6 for
Oh,
defense.
of course. Yeah, I thought that was dinner in DX.
So
Okay.
+5.
Get some value here. Wildwood Escort getting back probably a 6/5 here.
Probably going to be the 6 drop.
Yeah. Javier, you want to just hop into the booth
Yeah,
too?
maybe we should
just mic him up.
Yeah,
right.
he's mic'd up already. We should just get out of his way.
That's right.
All right, he does pick up, as he called it, the 6 drop.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
This is Invasion of Mercadia now from Nathan Steuer.
Yeah.
Does he have the ability to push through, though?
Yeah. So
Like, if he finds a derision here.
that's what I was going to say.
Snap flip?
It's a little precarious now here if you're Javier. If Nathan can find one of the 2 derisions in his deck here, clear the way, flip the invasion, then that's a lot.
That's
on
a lot.
Nathan's side.
That's a lot.
And that
Especially
is a
given the
derision.
lack of removal.
That
He
is
did
a
find
derision.
one. Oh.
Yeah, and just the only interesting thing here is the fact that he knows Javier has a Timberland Ancient, but I think it's still worth it here. This is just, you're getting so much here. You get a treasure, you flip your invasion, you have 3 creatures on board versus just the 6/5.
Yeah.
And you can go wide.
Versus nothing,
Right.
and then forcing Javier to tap out. The only downside here would be if Sunfall hit.
Sure.
It would be a
Yeah.
disaster, but Chiron Flameright ends the game very quickly if left unchecked.
Okay.
Oh, he did not activate it. Okay.
Right.
He cast
So I
Dramatic
think we're just
Revelation.
passing, and now Nathan's just going to try to develop a wide board here with the Chiron Flameright. End of turn, make 2 1/1s, untap, make 2 1/1s, give your entire team +1/+0 and haste. This card can just single-handedly win you the game.
It absolutely can. Yeah, that Timberland Ancient is really the last line of defense here. And it looks like Javier is in that unenviable position of being out of gas as well.
Forest, I think.
Yeah. So given the lands, Javier likely just going to transform the Dune Shaper here. Wow, is it the... Okay.
I mean, this is the point where you have to start taking desperate measures, right?
Right. I don't... Can you attack?
I mean,
Oh, I guess...
he can attack the battle
Right,
and
you can
force him
and
to
force the block.
something.
So Nathan can then discard a card and put a token in front of the Ancient.
and just to soak up 5 or soak up 1
Or,
and not
or
transform.
put 2 tokens and the Informant in front of it, right?
Start to
They
play
all-
a grindier game.
Yeah, they all get +1/+0, and so that would get the Ancient off the battlefield. But then all of a sudden, you don't have much of a board.
Okay. Sure.
Discard last card in hand here for Steuer, just a swamp.
So they're 2-1.
Yeah, 1/1. The 2 1s are, yeah.
They're 1/1s and then they get
Yeah.
the bonus.
So
Elementals.
these are multiple 2/1s, a 3/2, and a 3/3 first striker that Nathan has currently.
Yeah, I wonder if Nathan does just want to pile, just say, look, I'm going to make hay while the sun's shining instead of trying to getting you dead in a turn or two.
Right.
I'll start just trading off
Of course,
resources.
yeah, I don't know if Nathan is in a position to play around combat tricks. If, of course, Javier had
Oh,
some kind of a combat
that's
trick,
true.
it would be really bad if you triple blocked.
Like it could be all of it.
Right.
So that's
2, 3, 4, 2 trample. So 4.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
There's a little bit of a change of direction here from Steuer, but he's definitely taking advantage of the cards he has on the battlefield right now and trading resources very advantageously. I mean, he basically discarded a card and threw a Nezumi Informant in front of a 6/5 trample to kill it. I mean, that's you take that deal
Curious,
all day.
yeah, and curious if Nathan wants to run out Drag Recycler or just make 2 1/1s here. Now, Javier doesn't have a great attack here with the Dune Shaper. If Nathan chooses to keep back the Heel Slasher, with the activated ability of the Chiron, he can just turn it into a 3/3 first striker on defense, so then the 4/3 just won't be able to get through. Aggressive?
I love the hand motion there
Yeah.
from Javier. Bring it. Not another land.
Oh,
it wasn't
that's a
another
spell.
land.
Was that Invasion of...
Dominaria, I think.
Oh, I thought it was Grabakon. Okay, Dominaria. Gain life, that's big in this situation, kind of
Yep.
racing.
Yeah.
Does he have a reasonable attack?
He can attack, but he'll lose his 4/3 to the 2 tokens generated by the Chiron.
And still not be able to transform either.
And
That's
then
not
the Invasion of Coria will go down to 2 off the trample damage.
What did he draw with it?
Overgrown Pest, it looks like.
Yeah,
Okay.
your boy.
Looking for a battle here now.
Can't miss. He's going to hit another land. Not what he needed. Although I will say that none of the cards that he saw on top were particularly great, especially thinking in terms of getting back into this game. There's one card in mind.
Sunfall. Yep. Always gives you a shot.
It really does. And it gives you a shot of not only coming back, but taking the lead.
Right. Okay.
So he's just content to keep trading off resources, just sort of stemming the bleeding. But he knows that if another turn or two goes by, Nathan's going to be able to leverage that Kylan and eventually just overwhelm him.
That's a jury.
Okay.
Okay. It's kind of nice, though, just making 1-1s every turn, right?
It really is.
12 off.
But it looks like that's not on the menu this time.
Okay.
The question, of course, that Nathan faces every time is, since he's hellbent, he has no cards in hand, is do I want to discard this to turn it into 1-1s, or would I rather have it on the battlefield? And in this case, he said, I'd like to have that one on the battlefield.
And remember, Nathan does have a treasure in play, so this jury can go up to 2-2 here.
Just whenever he wants. There's Enduring Bond Warden there for Dominguez.
So
when you're hoping to top deck your best possible card and you draw 1-drop, it's not usually it.
So we can see a block sack a treasure to finish off the pest, or a double block.
Right. Yeah, Nathan just has so many resources available to him. This is almost just Dominguez trying to distract him long enough. Like, he knows he can't actually win this fight with the tools that he has.
Yeah, and
so he needs to just try to get to the point where he can get a Sunfall or
and
something.
we are now getting in here. This is an attack for 7 from Nathan.
I mean, it's another one turn if he doesn't block.
Javier's on the, is there a Sunfall on top of my deck?
Yeah, Sunfall or Bust is where it looks like. Is this a
Sunfall?
Sunfall? Come on, guys, let us. They're doing a better job than us. It's Alabaster Host Intercessor, though, which is pretty good.
That is not bad. Now, all of a sudden, Nathan doesn't really have an attack here, right?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm at 5. A lot.
So, I'm at 5. You're at a lot.
Are we attacking here to get the invasion down to 1? Or do you just want to keep something back? You are down to 5.
This is a scenario where Dominguez doesn't have the luxury of you know, playing around much, right? This is going to be, I knew it. Stormclaw Rager, he tapped that way too fast.
That is good.
And he's got a good board state to refill his hand here as well.
Right. And that's going to turn into a 4-4. That's going to be bigger than the Intercessor.
And he's going to just turn all of these 1-1s into cards as Dominguez just sees his freshly stabilized board state evaporate. And now he's once again back to, I need Sunfall. Problem is that Steuer will have cards in hand this time. So even if he does get lucky and rips it, it may not be enough to get him out.
Okay, so that's a
invasion
counter.
of Moog. Yeah, so he'll get counters on his guys.
It's nice to get it on the Bond Warden, right? So
can he afford an attack here?
I don't.
I mean,
you would eat the Rager. You would eat the Rager because you might see a double block. I think he's just going to pass.
This is tough because he's got a little house of cards going, right? If he can get one of those transformed, what did he find?
Derision.
Oh, deadly Derision off the top.
And you're at 5 here now. And you get an extra rummage here.
I think Dominguez's face kind of says it all.
Yeah.
This is his game plan collapsing in front of his eyes.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can sacrifice artifacts as well to the Rager, so the treasure gets fed to it.
He's not dead.
I can't believe that Dominguez actually stabilized that board, and now over the last 2 turns has seen it just absolutely collapse.
So Javier's down to 3 and needs to find a Sunfall.
Yeah, it's Sunfall or bust, and he may lose even in that scenario.
Absolutely.
I have to think here, sorry.
Javier's like, look, I'm thinking of 1 card, so take your time, no problem.
I mean, Nathan does have 2 of the Ragers, right? He was going to find one eventually.
True.
What?
Not a Sunfall. He's going to pack him up. And that was game number 1 going to Nathan Steuer. Able to hang in there just long enough. And that's going to bring us to game number 2.
Good.
Okay, both players looks like they kept their openers, Paul.
No 2-drops again. This is a really slow hand here from Javier.
Or 1-drops. He has 2 1-drops as well.
He has just all 4 and 5 drops?
Look at him. He's ready to go.
Oh, that was a good.
Look at him. He's got his hand on his leg. He's like, come on, let me see that next card. Traumatic revelation, though, is going to
that's
show
probably
what's going on.
taking a pest, would be my guess. It's the only play that Javier has. If you think the game's going to go long, I can see taking the
Eudora or the
escort.
Yep.
And the last game was kind of grindy. But the pest also gets you up a card, and it's the only play again.
Yeah, the default these days is to take whatever their next relevant play is, but there's definitely times when you think longer term and say, well, I can't beat that.
Right.
I'll take the pest.
Pest.
And it is pest.
Are we going to fetch a 1-1 here? Or a 1-2?
Get a Bond Warden?
Pest is for 1.
Yes. It could be
Could
the
get
Dune
a Dune Shaper.
Yeah.
No, I cannot get a 1. Must get in the dog.
Oh, you have the dog.
Not the dog.
He's got that dog.
It's going to be a while, though, before you can flip that
I
thing.
don't think we're transforming the invasion with that too soon. It does give him something to look forward to spending his mana on, perhaps.
Right. If he finds... right now, Javier just needs to find just lands off the top, right? Feel a lot better, get a couple of lands, then you'll be able to play a real game here.
Yeah, I think if I was in Javier's seat, I'd be feeling pretty pessimistic at this point.
Yep.
Lando.
Oh, that would make me feel a little better. He said Lando. He doesn't hit one, though.
No land. That likely to find a play, though.
Botanical Brawler's an icy. Go.
Yep.
That's going to get flourished. No, it's not.
On Nathan's turn. On Nathan's turn.
Okay, I'll be patient and wait till Nathan's turn for it to die. But the Charger's going to get land cycled away for a mountain here on end step. Dominguez was ready to put that Brawler in the graveyard.
Like, is there hope? Is this going to live?
He already had his hand on it.
Doesn't have a way to put any counters on it right now.
Go.
Oh, no derision here. No flourish.
Okay.
Shield Slasher. And another missed land drop for Dominguez as he sees his game plan crumble ever further. No removal, no land drop, nothing to add to the board. Can't transform anything.
Yeah. That's the worst possible draw.
What did he find?
Copper Host Crusher.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bad when your opponent is packing a bunch of derisions, but here, not the time.
Okay, an attack from Steuer. Land drop number 5 for him.
Okay.
And he's going to play a gift. He's got the mana up to transform.
Not a land.
Yeah. Too late.
Yeah, and
it's
now
just too late.
Nathan's just going to have a much bigger board presence here. You have the removal spell. You've got an unseal as well.
Yeah.
This is going to be 3 lands here.
Classic.
Oh, no.
My God, Paul.
Oh, no.
Paul, how did you do that? It was guaranteed, right?
Right. I mean, it's just math, Marshall.
Right. And then he's going to miss the next one. You can just see it all in Javier's face. And all of us have been there. Every single person watching this stream, everybody here has been in this position where you're just like, there is nothing I can do. And of course, 3 lands get milled.
It's okay. Could still have a 4th land on top, right? That's just...
Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not?
No,
Oh,
if I'm in
no
Javier's
chance?
seat, I'm like, there's 0 chance. It's going to be some double white spell or 6-drop or something. The question is, can Nathan just close the door on this thing before Javier starts to hit his lands? Because we've also all been in the position where you're the one behind on lands, but then you start hitting them and your opponent runs out of gas and you don't.
The problem is Nathan's hand is still full of gas.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay, there we go.
Against all odds, he's going to get Quende on the battlefield.
So that's a 3-1 double striker here, right?
It is.
So
I
that
guess.
gets to get in for a good amount of damage.
Yeah, try to hit that that battle.
Yeah, so then will Nathan just put the recycler in the way here or just use the flourishing?
It's 11, you're 20.
Huh.
Yeah.
So both attacking. Now we go, what, recycler and flourishing?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Final flourish.
Final flourish.
This is so bad for Javier. Did Nathan take that back?
I think he might be considering that he wants to play around aerial boost, right? So then you go, do you want to sacrifice that urn potentially to just make sure you get that off the battlefield so the
Right.
invasion of Ikoria doesn't flip? That's probably the consideration here.
There is one aerial boost in Javier's deck. And remember, the players do get to look at the pools from what they drafted, so they will know at least of the possibility of that type of card.
Right. Now, you could just kill the more powerful card in the Quende, and the Cavalier would not have double strike.
True.
One here.
It's like, do you have the boost?
And he is
There
just
he
going to kill
goes.
the Quende.
Yeah.
I like that play a
Yeah.
lot. That is definitely that's the balanced play.
Yeah.
Right. That's the least. That's not going for the maximum. It's not going for the minimum. It's
Right.
right in the middle.
But you want to use your removal spells on the better creatures, right?
Exactly. And as long as the battle isn't transformed, you don't care. It can be at 1, 2.
Yeah.
That also got the Botanical Brawler off the battlefield, which is the type of card that can kind of do.
So this is
nasty
interesting. Now we can
things.
haste in for a lethal attack potentially. Javier can block, but it looks like Nathan wants to keep a creature back potentially so that the invasion doesn't flip.
Okay.
The backup guy gives it flying as well when you target it, right?
And remember,
So I could
Nathan
use
does know some of the contents of Javier's hand.
You have to chunk block this and take 6 down to 5. Yeah. Okay, you're at 5. Go.
And this is the last draw step for Dominguez. If he doesn't find anything relevant,
So this
he found the
transforms.
planes.
This transforms into an 8/8 reach creature.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also worth noting that the Urn of Godfire is sitting there at the ready, and that's going to do it. No way out for Javier Dominguez. He's going to extend the hand, and that is Nathan Steuer picking up yet another victory here. He just keeps on winning, and only one loss on the weekend so far.
Yeah, can't lose, and really that deck kind of came together nicely. All the synergies that people talk about when talking about the Red-Black Sacrifice deck really kind of helped put him over the top, especially in that game 1 where it did go kind of long. But in that last game, of course, you know, sometimes that just happens. That's magic. You know, Javier kept a hand with 3 lands, 4 spells, and just never found his 4th land.
That's right. So the winning ways continue for Nathan Steuer. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, though, we've got more draft action in the feature match area. We've got Simon Nielsen and Jim Davis. And welcome back to coverage here of Pro Tour March of the Machine. We're in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're happy to have you here. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. We're bringing you coverage of the draft here early in the day. The players have gone through, done their draft, and we're in the first round of action. Our next feature match is upon us as well, and it features our undefeated player from overnight, Jim Davis. Got to sleep real nice last night with the 8-0, came back to draft this morning. Take a look at our players here. He's going to face down accomplished pro Simon Nielsen as well. So both of these players near the top of the standings. You see the 7-1-0 versus 8-0. Let's take a look at Jim's list here. And he's got
blue,
well,
green.
He has blue, but he's paired it with green, which is probably the least popular pairing for blue. You can see, though, it does open you up to some cool stuff, like he can splash for Invasion of New Phyrexia quite easily here as well.
I think I see an Invasion of Segovia there on the 3-mana slot too, but it's mostly green, touch of blue, and then an Invasion, which is an extremely powerful spell.
Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out for him. You know, of course, the issue that you face when you play decks like this is the relative lack of removal. You can disrupt them a bit, but you kind of need to power through. Simon Nielsen, interestingly, ended up also on red-black here, and he's got some bangers. He's got Shieldred over in the upper right part of your screen. He's got a rare removal spell in Pylon, as well as Collective Nightmare, Vanquish the Weak, kind of round out his removal. Pretty good there. He's got some medium, but this is a tough pod, right? And he's got, you know, a Scrap Chomper, Furnace Gremlin are just kind of okay. But you see the Jury there as well. Some nice rares. So let's get into the action here and see if Jim can continue his winning ways. The storyline as it breaks down here, Paul, is Jim can win, keep himself away from the X and 1 players, or if he loses, it'll be kind of a group of them at that point. Steuer will be in there. Same thing with Simon. Jim would join that group.
Yeah. Only undefeated player.
I'm curious to see how this goes for Jim. I mean, this is the second time that he's been undefeated overnight. That's very few people can say that.
Went pretty well for him the last time, right? Didn't lose a match in the entirety of the Swiss, and made the top 8. Went just 12-0.
Went all right for him.
Yeah, can he run it back? It also allowed him to qualify for the World Championship last year. But great curve here from Simon Nielsen here. Turn 1 Anchor Drinker into a turn 3 Captain Lannery Storm.
Hey, start
getting
pumping
in
out some
with
treasures.
no interaction, no removal. Hopefully can find a creature here.
What is Jim up to?
What do you have here?
He's got all 3 colors, 3 mana, and nothing? I mean,
Dispersal, as far as Dispersal? No, it would have played it last turn, maybe?
Jim's going to be, or excuse me, Simon's going to be pretty happy here if this is the...
I don't think Jim is splashing a cut short or anything here, and doesn't have 2 green for the Sandstorm Moloch that we saw. So could have just... Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, but if Captain Lannery Storm goes unchecked, it gets ugly.
Remember, and
the Beatstick makes treasures too.
Right, and a treasure was sacrificed too. So this is an attack for 5.
Yeah, the damage is adding up quickly.
And you get the treasure, and you get another treasure, right? Because of the Beatstick. So now you get 2 treasures.
And that should allow Simon to just dump his hand on the battlefield.
Right, and so now you get a 4-drop in play too.
Freewheeler.
What did Jim keep?
If he just doesn't do anything this turn, he just has done nothing. Literally hasn't cast anything all game.
Did he mulligan?
This is not the fastest draft format we've had, but you can't do nothing.
You can't keep a hand that doesn't do anything in the first 3 turns of the game. Okay, well, he's going to play something here.
This better be good.
Perhaps just get a 4/4 on the battlefield here, maybe. Oh, nope, that's not that great.
No, it's not. He's going to do cleansing just to get the thing out of the way, but...
Okay. Those are not ideal. Those are not the best reveals. I suppose actually the invasion is not bad because now Jim can't really play a creature next turn.
Exactly. It's really punishing to a slow start.
So this is an attack
And
for
his life
4.
total's plummeting. He's down to 8.
2 treasures. Play something else. Oh, you can play the freewheeler here? Jeez, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine Jim, unless he has a sweeper, needs to fight through what he has in play, what Simon has in play, plus that edict, right? That sacrifice
just
effect that's still
hovering
hovering
over
over there on the side.
Invasion of Asgul just sitting there. Oh, there's land number 5.
Yeah, but you got a Invasion of New Phyrexia, maybe? Make 3 2/2s?
That'd help a lot.
Yeah.
And instead, he's
that's
just going to pick up
far
his
behind.
cards. Wow, just
Jeez.
effectively a free win for Simon Nielsen at
absolutely.
the PT when you're X and 1 facing down the only X and O player
Yeah.
in the whole tournament.
All right, good start here for Simon.
Simon says, I will take it. Let's see if Jim can right the ship. A little bit better of a start for Jim. He's on the play, and Simon's on 6.
Simon's
so
on 6 this time, yeah.
perhaps a little better. Omen Hawker to start it
Omen
off. That can
Hawker,
turbo out.
So it's definitely a scary card. When your opponent plays it, you have to think, okay, they have several ways to use the mana from the Hawker.
It is funny because when your opponent plays it, it's like does almost nothing until it does all the things.
Right.
Right. It's like it's either a blank or
it's a 1 mana that makes
turbo.
2 mana.
Right. Right.
Like, what if there's an Eyes of Gitaxias this turn, right?
Exactly. Instead, it's getting in the red zone.
Okay.
My boy Skittering Surveyor doing its thing.
A
It's
little
going
bit
to go
better
find
here.
a plains.
Get the mana. No Lannery Storm this time.
Not even close. Just a
And
gremlin.
That was, yeah, something he drew for the turn.
Yeah, Furnace Gremlin. Would have played that last turn.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we know Jim's hitting his land drop. Seems like he's well set up here. Okay, Portent Tracker.
All the mana in the world here.
Hawkers, Trackers, Surveyors.
Creatures are not impressive stat-wise.
No.
But
no. He has 3 creatures on the battlefield and 3 power. But that is a setup, right? I mean, he could have some explosive action here. All right, we're going to see Valduk here from Simon Nielsen and no 4th land.
Great combo with the Boomtown Beat Stick that we saw in game 1.
Yeah, I'm curious if he has other. Does he have like maybe a great sword?
Beamtown Beat
He
Stick.
does. He
What's
has
the
a
other?
Ramosian greatsword.
Just everybody just playing that card, huh? Just 3 in the draft.
Seems like it. There was a bunch of them in the draft too.
Okay, so 3/4 flyer.
He does seem to be telegraphing that a little bit here.
Right. He's got a pair of those.
Yeah, Thunderhead Squadron. There it is.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good here, though.
Okay, and keeping up 2 mana. I'm not sure if he's got an Assimilate Essence or something like that in his deck.
Let me take a look. No, he doesn't.
Does have a Cosmic Hunger, I believe, in the deck, so.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Oh, didn't use it, though, on the freewheeler there. Would have been very tempting to cast it right there. Could also leave the mana up and use it if Simon tries to flip. This is one of the cards where it's most punishing because it just takes so much mana.
Oh.
Right? It's 4 to cast, 5 the flip.
Devastating.
And then if somebody, even if you just bounce it, it just felt like your opponent just used a hard removal spell at that
It
point.
really does. Okay, Converter Beast. And we're finally going to see that Omahaker do some action.
Right. Although Jim has a ton of mana. Probably didn't even need it here, but now it does have the Omen Hawker plus the Portent Tracker to untap a land and still use potentially a combat trick.
Right. So Omen Hawker, not worth a card this game yet.
Not yet. Well, it did Convoke.
Okay. We're up to 3/4 of a card of value.
It's great with that Herbology Instructor that's in Jim Davis's graveyard.
I love that card.
Oh, yeah.
That guy teaches lessons to aggressive decks.
Yeah. That's got to be a little suspicious, right? If you're on Jim's side here.
Because we knew he missed land drops earlier, right? So he has action.
All right, so we do know that Simon Nielsen does have a pylon in his deck, right? I believe, so.
He does.
Premium removal there. Probably going to look to potentially fire that off here. And if you're on Jim's side, you got to be kind of scared to just attack on the ground, given all the different tricks Simon might have. So just making the safe attack here with the flyer.
Yeah, the Furnace Gremlin, also the threat of activation on that is a little bit annoying from Jim's perspective, as Simon's just leaving his mana.
So Vanquish the Weak, maybe? No, another...
Unsealed the Necropolis.
Unsealed the Necropolis, okay.
He's already got a Rager in the graveyard, and it looks like he's got Lannery Storm.
Oh, that's a Shieldred. That is a Shieldred.
Oh, he hit a Shieldred
that was milled here for Simon Nielsen.
Wow.
Extremely powerful mythic rare here. Just, you don't even need the flip side, but if it's just, 5 mana, 4/5 menace, enter the battlefield, sacrifice a non-token creature, right?
Right.
Super happy to play that card in my deck.
Amazing. And he has the pylon here as well.
And he has the pylon. Okay.
Wow, so he waited a little while, but now the rares are coming out.
Yep.
He's going to cast one on end step and one on his turn. The only downside here is that it does force Jim to sacrifice a non-token creature, but he's got a really good option there. He's got like actually 3 or 4 really good ones.
There's plenty of fodder
Yeah.
on that side. So, but it could be one of those situations where if this game goes long and you can find a way to flip that Shieldred.
Which
right?
he will be able to, because just by casting it, that will put 8 cards into the graveyard for Jim here. Like the Converter Beast will end up in there, or maybe the Surveyor or whatever. And he's built up his mana base. He's getting pretty close to being able to just do that. And
so
it is not fun for Jim if he gets to transform Shieldred.
Oh, okay. And the only thing Simon needs to be concerned about here, and look at this, just developing his board a little bit more here, is playing Shieldred and then Jim using a fight or bite effect with the 5/5 token that he hasn't played to get the Shieldred off the battlefield. So perhaps, finding some way to get that into play a little bit later with some kind of protection element. Maybe that's what Simon would be looking for here.
Looks like he went Sandstalker Moloch on end step, which did trigger.
Oh, it feels bad every time your opponent plays that and gets the value.
Really good 2-for-1.
So 3 Ragers in the draft.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, lots of mana here. Is this an invasion of New Phyrexia?
Yes, it is.
That is a lot of tokens. 5 tokens?
Yep, looks like 5.
Okay.
Boy, that's really, really tough for Nielsen.
That is a lot. Are we going to see a Teferi?
There's a good chance.
Yeah. I mean, that is a lot of power that can come in. Likely going to wait till the next turn here for Jim Davis.
And it looks like Simon's going to transform
the
agent.
Make a 3/3 body there, right? Oh!
What does he have? I can't see.
Glistening Deluge.
Oh! What is that going to leave behind?
Savage!
Is he only leaving the 5/5?
It's a 5/5 and a Skittering Surveyor, and you wiped out the entire team on the other side.
Oh,
wow.
My God. That was gross.
That was
Simon,
savage.
That was rude.
Man.
Oh, man. Jim must have been, like, not happy when he saw that thing get transformed.
I mean, that is a heck of a sideboard card. I don't think we saw that in Simon's main, so... Man, I mean,
let me double check. I am curious. He may have brought it in just for the...
wow.
For the New Phyrexia. Let's see, Glistening Deluge. Yeah, that's out of the sideboard.
Out of the sideboard. I mean, those cards are so powerful.
What a...
Just that entire cycle, really. But
disgusting.
I mean, how does Jim recover from that?
Jim is not going to recover from that.
Just calling it now.
I mean,
look
there's
at
still
the board
Shieldred
here.
in hand too, right?
Right, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And why keep it in hand when you can have it on the battlefield?
You can just have it on, but you can now just offer the trade here with your 3/3 Death Toucher. The Menace creature gets to get through.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to get in with the Gremlin too, just to potentially just get in for some more damage because you can incubate anyways? Oh, just more creatures.
Rouse
Why not?
reinforcements
Sacking one.
now.
Yep.
And one of them got eaten by the Rager. Yeah, this
Way
is
too
just
much.
overwhelming. We're in Sunfall territory, and he doesn't have access to it. Wow, Simon Nielsen putting on a clinic in the feature match here. Game 1 wasn't really much of a game.
Yeah, he just curved out.
But this
here?
and met no resistance. That's an Ichor Drinker. But Simon Nielsen in this game has just been, that sideboard, unbelievable.
Ooh, yeah, incredible. I mean, it looked like Jim was able to, was kind of on the verge of turning it around, right?
Uh-huh.
But man, that deluge.
Yeah, I mean, Jim was ahead. Even with the Shieldred, he was looking okay.
And here I am. I was just thinking, oh, well, you're going to flip it to make it a 3/3. That's smart because there's a bunch of 2/2 Vigilance creatures in play.
Good
and then
play, Simon.
he just one-sided Wraths
Crunch.
Jim Davis' side of the battlefield.
And now he's using the Rager to turn all of these little junkers into cards.
Geez, this is so much damage. Is this just a lethal attack? I mean, it's got to be close.
It does have to be close. Block.
4.
He got a 3/1 as well, and
yeah.
that's going to do it. Well, if you're going to take a loss in the feature match area, at least make it not close, says Jim Davis. And that does, by the way, even things up as far as the X and ones, right? There's now no one person who's separated out from that group of people. You saw Nathan Steuer in there, and both of the players that were in our feature match here, Simon and Jim, are both sitting in that slot.
Yeah, so now we just have a ton of players at 9-1. We're not going to have one person just run away with it and get those 12 wins. But again, all these players still in fantastic position. Jim starting out with 8-0, still needs to get those 4 wins to lock himself a slot into the top 8. And you know, his deck does have a decent amount of power, but Glistening Deluge is not one that he wants to see.
No, that was a sideboard champion for Simon Nielsen. All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be at the news desk setting up for the next round of draft here from Pro Tour. Don't go anywhere.